Oh, Jesus. After all that, I get took out by a flower bed. All right. Holy, I felt like Frogger then. Welcome back to another episode of Game Audio Dev Reacts. My name's Adam, and today we're going to be playing Skate, which is the new free-to-play game by EA. I'm going to be playing it on PC, and we're going to be delving into a bunch of the game audio things. I hate saying it, but please like and share the video and subscribe. It appeases the algorithm gods. Sorry. Grab your favorite snack and a drink, and let's get going with this game. So, I'm just in this area at the moment, which is like the harbour place, and you'll notice that the ambience is really busy and really full, very dynamic. I mean, even now, I'll be quiet for a second so we can hear it, but it sounds fantastic. It sounds so good.
Would you like me to scan the area too?
Sounds very nice. It sounds incredibly realistic. There's also, because I've turned off the music because of copyright, we won't actually be able to hear this feature, but this has a very cool feature where you go near a speaker, which is playing spatialized music in the world, and you can grab the music by highlighting on it, and you can capture it that way. Very similar to what they did in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Love that feature. So I will completely admit, I'm a Tony Hawk Pro Skater kind of guy. I like Skate, but I'm not very good at it, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm really liking the sound of those roads nearby. It sounds really realistic. The sort of low frequency boomy sound that you get, I guess, being off axis of a road like this, slightly far away, and you're getting sort of the reflection of the city bouncing back.
You know where we haven't been in a while? The Hedge. Might be worth seeing if people are rolling around Hardcore Plaza. You shred there.
So that brings me to my next point, which is the VO lines in this game is, well, all of the VO so far seems to be using this radio effect, which, whoa, holy moly, which I'm sort of in two minds about, because it's really like band-past, you know?
It seems you like pushing.
And I get that it's like the radio effect, but sometimes it's hard to hear with all the things going on. It also feels a little quiet in the mix as well.
I may be biased, but that pedestrian was kind of in the way.
It's also very frequent as well. Like, I've completed all the tutorial sections, and I'm kind of just like wanting to do my own thing, but yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. The VO seems to be playing very frequently, although I don't believe I have an active mission at the moment. I thought I was just free roaming. I've completed all the tutorial bits, so I thought I was free to go, but it sounds like it wants me to go somewhere. There's a chicken again. I don't know if you heard that then. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes you just have to find your fun.
That's true. I must say, I know that that's not the franchise's like strong suit, but it would be really nice if we could just enter those cars.
Is your erratic behavior an attempt to throw off algorithmic predictors?
You kind of see what I mean. Like the VO is a little bit too frequent, and
Can't help but have a good time at the Triple T's, eh?
it's just too much, you know. Like I've seen some people get frustrated at certain games where the protagonist is a little too vocal, but this seems a little, oh my gosh, this seems far too frequent to be like, I guess, critiquing the gameplay or just like commenting on it without like an active objective to go to. So yeah, that's That's my thing. Normally I don't really comment on the actual use case of the VO, more just the effects and things that are on it. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on to some other areas. I'm incredibly impressed so far with just the actual sound of the skating. They absolutely nailed it. And so I'm just going to go through some areas here and just do some tricks just so you can hear. Really listen out for the wheels spinning when the board leaves the air. It is awesome. They did such a good job. Also, I found just turning off the name tags above people's heads really helps things as well. It feels less like I'm in a big online world, and it sort of just feels like they're an NPC. I just have to ignore the fact that they like teleport like this to all sorts of places all the time. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's nice seeing it being so busy, to be honest. It's just a shame that it's always online, but I guess that's the compromise with it being on. Oh, that is a very sturdy metal pole. Interesting. I didn't realize that was the case, but what I mentioned earlier about the radio being able to take the song, you can actually do that with the cars as well. I think that is a really cool feature. I haven't seen too many games doing that, to be honest. I really like that it has like such a big focus on the music. I think that's a great touch. The skateboard sounds are so good. Okay, I'm gonna mute V's gameplay commentary. Okay. So the system we're gonna touch on here is when you fall from a great height, it plays a riser in advance. It plays like a falling riser. The finals does this as well. It's really clever. My guess is that they've got a system that's constantly checking how high the player is, how fast they're traveling, and how far they are from the ground effectively. And I think that it almost like a left to right system where it plays a riser as you're about to hit the ground, and as soon as you make contact with it, it stops this riser. So it has like almost a whoosh-in sound, which is really annoying to do in games normally. It's almost like you've got to predict what's going to happen and you don't know, and it's got to be fully procedural. And yeah, the finals does that, this game does that. I mean, a lot of games do that these days. It's more and more common, but it's definitely a newer feature, I would say, because it really has to be quite solid for it to not stick out, but it's also kind of got to predict the future. So, whoa. Holy, I've got the balance of a saint. Jesus. Oh, these rails sound so good. And there was a little bit of a squeak then from the trucks underneath the skateboard. You can still hear, and you can see one of the wheels spinning. That's really clever. So they have this in such a granular way that it sounds like there is an audio event for each of the four wheels. And if one of them is still spinning, it will still play the audio sound. Oh, let's do that one again for the bridge. That is incredibly satisfying. It's quite a sharp entrance to under the tunnel there, that volume. That wasn't so bad, that one. Sharp going under there for some reason. That's absolutely nitpicky though. Now it's interesting, this brings me onto a debate. Oh, sounds like Yoko Ono over there. Anyway, so, whoa. Whoa. So, as I was saying, I think this is an interesting topic to bring up, where when things get filtered, where you go under a bridge, let's say, the character almost certainly goes under the bridge before the camera does. And then there's the age-old argument of, should you hear what the player hears? Or should you hear as if you're possessing the camera? So when you go under a bridge, do you hear it become filtered when the camera goes under? Or do you go when the player goes under? And most times it feels most natural for it to be the camera. There's an interesting argument to be made there. I don't know. These atmospheres sound so full. I'm in awe here. Noticed a few times on these idle animations where the character does a random head scratch or scrapes his hands or whatnot, and there's no audio on this. Like this one, for example. There's no Foley sounds, but that's fine. I mean, this game is in early access. Like, that's absolutely not expected. I'm just, I'm nitpicking a little bit here. I think this game sounds fantastic overall. I think they've done an incredible job here. Okay, what we're going to do next is test some of the higher up places. That's where I think the effects really shine. Really nice attenuation there. Oh. Yeah, I think it really sells the height of where you are. I can't hear those one-shots anywhere near as clear as I could hear them on the ground. So yeah, they've done a great job with the altitude affecting the sound itself. So let's use this session marker so we can do this a couple of times. Just get some of those wind rushing sounds. Now I'll try and do one of those sounds I mentioned earlier where there's like the pre-riser on the impact. You hear that? It kind of goes... It fades into it in advance, which is easy if you're doing linear media, obviously. But in a game, it's very difficult, and they've done a great job with that. I didn't hear one that time. Let's try that one again. That sounds so good. The impacts in this game are great. Ugh. Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm noticing in a couple of cases the audio isn't actually playing, so we will move on from that part. I don't know what's going on. Oh, this cobblestone sounds so satisfying. Oh, Jesus! After all that, I get took out by a flower bed. All right. Holy, I felt like Frogger then. So I'm going to try and find an example. I'm going to try and find an example of some Doppler effects in this game. So these cars. Nice. So yeah, effectively, I know there's the thing down there, but yeah, the Doppler effect is effectively the pitch as it goes past seems to vary a little bit. There's a lot more science behind it, but the too long didn't read is that it sort of fluctuates in pitch as it passes by you, and that's what this game does. A lot of the time in middleware there is like a setting to just turn on to make it calculate that, but yeah, no, it works well here. Ooh. Very nice. Yeah, those low impacts are really, really satisfying. You can feel it in the controller as well. Yeah, that sounds super satisfying. So, also as well in this section, of course, because there's no music, we can't hear it, but there's two speakers there that will be playing positional music to... Whoa, Jesus, what are you doing? It'd be playing positional music, so I think, yeah, that would be really immersive there. Okay. Yeah, I really love the sound of these ramps here. What would they be, like MDF wood or something along those lines? Sounds really nice. It's got that, like, perfect hollow sound that you would expect from a ramp made out of this material. And that's just another thing. They did such a great job at designing the assets. Now, I'm curious to see how they designed them. I assume there is a system of things going on where they have the surface type loop, the wheels on a loop, then there's a bunch of one-shots which will be like the skidding and scraping sounds, I guess. I assume the player kicking is on its own event entirely, just entirely separate, which is probably linked to the anims. Wheels are still going. That is incredible. They must have that set on like wheel RPM or something. They have like a system that is tracking those wheels in real time, in wheel time. Shut up! Yeah, we're tracking it in wheel time, guys. Oh. Holy moly! What is my guy doing? Jesus. Okay. But yeah, I'm incredibly impressed that they've got like a, what I can assume is a BPM, RPM rather, for the wheels. Very clever. Like, I see that on big vehicles and whatnot, but I guess I wouldn't expect it because there's 4 wheels, but also because they're so small and it's probably not a detail that everyone's looking out for, but it is a lovely touch. And again, there's so much care and attention put into the audio here. Not sure how many people they have working on the audio, but I would assume it's a big team. Would be curious to find out. Now, I'm not sure how many other areas there actually are. I think it's this one big city that's broken up into a bunch of other regions. Oh, that reed road there was really nice. Let's see. Let's see if we can climb up this building here. I assume that's possible. Might have to initiate my roll technique though. Oh. Oh my god. I actually really like that that session marker feature. It's almost like a save point. I think a lot of games like this that are sort of sandboxy, you could really use that, because I guess there's no reason to not have it when it's a kind of make your own adventure sort of game. And it just means if you fall to the bottom, you don't have to like restart your progress. It's great. Save my progress there. Listen out for the ambience. Sounds even higher up here, I think, than it did earlier. Which I find is surprisingly difficult to portray that through audio. A lot of it is volume attenuation, or just filtering from over distance. But then there's almost an airy sound to it. Like you're hearing the reflections first. That's a lovely touch. Let's do that again. See, initially I thought that that was the sort of the metal plank here, but I think that's this guy's shoes squeaking on the windows, because they are so, I guess, clean looking. But now I'm not so sure, because you're not hearing it normally. Very nice, though. I'm a big fan of that. I'm impressed you can climb up this high. This guy's upper body strength is unfathomable. I should go on Ninja Warrior. Nice plasticky sounds instead. Sort of like hollow plastic you would get, I guess, some of these buildings. Although I guess there's sort of that like corrugated metal, sort of hollow metal sounds. What's that? Maybe some construction going on. I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, I think there's a bit of stealing going on with, I think that cloth loop there. Playing sounds nice. Not sure how we actually get up here, to be honest. That. No. Ugh. Let's try that again. Yeah, it seems to be a little bit inconsistent, actually. That cloth loop is cutting in and out, but also the impact doesn't seem to be as spot on as it was before. So let's give it another go. I would have expected there to have been a bigger impact. When I'm skateboarding normally, there's a bigger impact from a far smaller height. Oh, shucks. Oh, that's nice. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was lovely. Oh, the sound going over cars. Construction work over there. That is so nice. Again, the closer the camera is to the skateboard, the more I'm hearing those really nice details like the squeaky trucks. I was playing through Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 the other day, the originals. And I realized that every single time you turn the board, it squeaks and you hear it. And I'm like, I didn't realize that it was so prevalent. What's this guy up to? I feel like a droidica from Star Wars. Yeah, so I think I finally came to terms with, you know, the game doesn't look like 1, 2, or 3 in terms of the art style, but I think that's fine. I think the gameplay is fun. It deserves far more than a 4 that IGN gave it. And again, I suppose the good thing is, with it being free to play, is you can make your own mind up if you want to just download it and try it for yourself. Yeah, those low impacts are lovely. I wonder. I thought there was going to be interactive sounds there. That's really cool. So when you skateboard on top of these speakers, it plays a random sound. If you land on speakers, that is. Really cool. Let's go and find somewhere cool. I'm hearing that cricket sound quite a lot. It's nice. So, the interesting thing about this game, just in terms of its audio sonic philosophy, is that it's not set in a real world, and there's a bunch of canonical things that basically make it otherworldly, so you can kind of get away with anything. So they established in this game that you don't take fall damage because of some medicine or something or other that the government produced or something, and this is clearly not a real city, and so it just means you get all of this creative freedom to just sort of make your own rules. So I think, yeah, sometimes in a project where something has to be perfect, it's easy to critique things either that are wrong or missing or whatnot. Whereas in this case, they can kind of just make their own rules. You know, you have lots of different architectural styles going on at once. There's loads of different birds and wildlife and all sort of random things melded together. So you can kind of just get away with what you want, which means you can get this really cool, diverse and dynamic sounding environment like they have, and a bunch of different surface types that maybe you wouldn't see together in the real world, but you would here, and I think that's really cool. It must have been nice to get away with having all those freedoms, actually. Like, you've got wood here next to marble, and then there's also slate, and then there's like, I guess, wooden slats. Again, more stone there. Oh my gosh. That impact is so satisfying. I cannot get over that. Yeah, when you do those tricks where you sort of hang like that, it really shows off those wheel systems where... I can't get over saying wheel systems. Where you can hear it individually spinning all the wheels. Again, such a nice touch. And I'm always concerned about things being too expensive in terms of like file size and memory budgets and whatnot, but I guess it's one of the sounds you hear the most, so you can completely justify, in which case it's probably not even that expensive anyway, having a sound like that constantly going. Who knows? That is a well-located toilet. Who's using that? Oh, jeez. It is an interesting one having these sort of AI NPCs in there alongside the regular players. Because I've turned off the name tags, it's almost hard to distinguish who's who. Hey! A man has fallen in the river in Lego City. Hey! Very nice. I think the sound of those grinding rails could maybe be louder, to be honest, to feel more satisfying. That impact sound has got to be my favourite thing in the game there, to be honest. It truly does sound real, I would say. I think if I was to close my eyes, I would be completely convinced that this is a skateboard video. You know, it sounds indistinguishable, almost. Yeah, that reverb is really nice. I'd be curious to see what they use. I wonder if there's any videos or anything online of whether they use like just reverb zones. Oh my gosh! Or whether they use something more custom, like some sort of like reflection system, or like a spatial volume. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they did that. If it is just reverb volumes, then I think that sounds really good. Let's take this moment to just appreciate the ambience. It's very spatial, honestly. It's nice. Ah, I must have hit the trampoline block. That sounds so nice. that water sounds okay. It's not too bad. I think could probably do with a little bit more weight, to be honest. A bit more of a heavy impact, but nitpicky once again. Sounds really nice when you're going sort of under that area. I always think that areas like that are really difficult, where they're open air, but they're also covered. Somewhere like this, where you would definitely get reflections coming from these corridors, but also there's a giant hole in the roof there, and also a hole in the roof there, but also all these steps are really like straight faced, so they would reflect the sound too. It's an interesting one, but it sounds perfect. It sounds exactly as I would want it to. Let's probably start from the top rather than the bottom. It's nice hearing things in the distance. Very nice. And I think on that note, we're going to call it there. I had a great time playing this game. I think it sounds fantastic. All the audio team should be incredibly proud of what they've achieved here. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this game goes next. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe. It appeases the algorithm gods. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions of what games you'd like me to cover, please leave them down below, and I will see you next time.